Today it's going to be a video all about sketchbooks. This is a very small part of my collection because it took me quite a lot of attempts to start to figure out what works for me. And I think if you love the idea of a sketchbook and you've been trying many times to start one or to use yours consistently, but it doesn't seem to work for you, maybe it's because you've heard some wrong advice. Today I want to address two ideas specifically about how to choose a sketchbook and how to use it that absolutely don't work for me. If you have the same kind of personality and criteria as I do, maybe it's preventing you from using your sketchbooks like it did for me. The first one is that you should pick the cheapest sketchbook that you can find. This is actually my cheapest sketchbook. The paper quality is awful and I only used it to make some warm-ups. And even like this, I didn't use it completely. It's just too bad for me. Because I think there is a point where it's so cheap that the quality of the paper can become annoying for you and can prevent you from actually using it. I get the idea that if you have something very fancy like this, you won't want to use it because you will feel like you have to make a very nice drawing inside, and the point of a sketchbook from this point of view is to practice more than to make something that you want to keep. So picking up the cheapest sketchbook in order not to be afraid to use it is good if you think you really need to practice and you really need not to have the pressure of this kind of sketchbooks. But if aesthetics matters to you, if quality of paper matters to you, it may be preventing you from actually using it. And I think the right sketchbook is not necessarily the cheapest one. It can be, but not necessarily. I think it's the one that doesn't feel so precious that you're afraid to use it, but doesn't feel so cheap that you feel like you will want to put it in the bin when you're done with it. And for me, it's this one. I consider this to be a middle ground between these two. I have the spiral binding that allows me, if I really mess up a page, to take it off. I try not to do it, but if really I mess up, I can, and it's a nice option for me. It allows it to lay flat, which is very important to me. And the paper is kind of medium weight. I think it's 150 grams per square meter. It's a mixed media sketchbook, so it takes pencil very nicely. It also takes ink and even a little bit of paint, not too much. I have some painted pages here. This one is one of the ones where I added the more water, so you can see it's buckling and it's a bit annoying, but not too much, so I can use a lot of things in it. It doesn't feel very expensive and luxurious, but it doesn't feel disposable either. And the second advice that absolutely doesn't work for me, I have a page to show it to you, is the idea that when you start a sketchbook you should have a page like this, basically ruin the first page in order to break inside it and for it not to feel so precious because it's so white and perfect and brand new and you don't want to ruin it. So the idea is that you ruin it on purpose so you're not afraid anymore. I get the idea behind the advice, but I think you don't have to ruin it completely to accept that none of your drawings are going to be perfect. This is actually the first page of this one. I'm very happy about it. And I think had I started with a page of scribbles like I just showed you, I wouldn't have wanted to keep going. For me, having a reasonably nice first page doesn't have to be perfect. Actually, I'm very happy about this one, but yeah, having a good first page is for me more motivating to keep going inside the sketchbook than having a very messed up first one. Behind an advice there is an intention, and these advices are made to counteract some fears or some personality traits that a lot of people have, maybe most people have. But before trying it, you should ask yourself whether you are that kind of person that needs to have something very cheap to feel at ease using it, or if you need your things to feel nice in order to want to use it, and I'm definitely more on the side of I need things to feel nice. They don't have to be perfect. This sketchbook isn't perfect by any means. So yeah, I hope this was helpful to you. If you have any thoughts about this topic, please let me know in the comments. I would love to talk about it with you, and I will see you in a couple of days.